Hello and welcome to Monday's edition of Cracking the Cryptic, where this sort of grid, it could only be Marty Sears, couldn't it? And this indeed is Marty Sears. It's a Marty Sears puzzle called Clone Count. And Marty himself has suggested that we take a look at this. Apparently it's got some very unusual logic in it. What I can tell you is it's got some very unusual graphics. In fact, I'm actually slightly... Is my screen squeezed there? That is such a peculiar... Oh, no, it's not. That's the same shape as that. Oh, no. Okay, it's just truly full of weird symbols. And I've no idea what's going on with this. I found it on Logic Masters Germany. I think it's got 4 stars out of 5 for difficulty, so it's not supposed to be a walk in the park. And it involves blobs, not the constructor. But these things are blobs, apparently, and that's what we're going to have to deal with if we want to solve the puzzle. So we'll read the rules together and see what we can do solving-wise in a moment or two's time. A few things to mention before we kick off today. Some of you, well, nearly 1,000 of you actually have been in, I think enjoying from the comments, a bonus video that we put on Patreon yesterday, my attempt at GCHQ's Puzzle of the Year, which was a rather wonderful thing. This is the puzzle. It's from their Christmas quiz, as you can see from the K's at the top there, and our job is to grade this question. Anyway, that is a fantastic puzzle by Colin, one of the very, very clever folk at GCHQ. And if you want to see me wrestle with that, it's over on Patreon now. I hope it'll appear on the channel in due course. Yeah, we're going to make a call on that in a few days' time. If you definitely want to see it, go over to Patreon now and check it out. Also, of course, on Patreon, on the 1st of July, which is fast approaching, we have a brand new Sudoku competition that's going to go live, featuring the puzzles of Panthera and Sandra and Nala. So some Fog of War, some Japanese sums puzzles are coming your way very soon. So look out for that. That's, as I say, 4 p.m. UK time on the 1st of July. What else? We are streaming tonight. The weather has sort of cracked here in the UK. So from being sort of high 40s, or at least it felt like high 40s, today I'd say it's about 23, which feels wonderful by comparison, let me tell you. And this means that hopefully at 10 p.m. UK time tonight, when we go back into the Blueprints mansion, it won't be a complete festival of meltingness, which it was last week. And we'd love to have your company if you're free for that. That I'll try and remember to put a link to that on the screen. Now, what else? Birthdays. I have 3 birthdays to do today, one of which I'm a day late with. I'm so sorry about this. Joseph, you turned the particularly important age of 5.5 yesterday, and I missed your 5.5 birthday. I'm sorry about that. I know it was your birthday because your Aunt Amy wrote to me in plenty of time. Aunt Amy may be better known to those of us in the Sudoku world as Panthera. Your godmother, Joseph. So I should have done the shout out yesterday. I'm sorry I missed it. I do hope you had a great birthday. I'm sure there was a birthday party, and I hope that the chocolate cake, it probably was chocolate cake, was very heavily iced. Next, Anna. Anna, it's your birthday today, and I know this because I had a message from your mum. Is it Tiana? Is that how I should say that? Or it could be Tiana, but your mum, anyway, Anna, was very keen on me saying happy birthday to you. She says that you watch the channel a lot, and I'm very grateful that you do that. So thank you for watching so often. I hope you have a great birthday today. Many, many happy returns, and I hope the cake is good. And then finally, Max. Your friend Noelle wrote to me and said that, said a lot of very nice things about you, but apparently you watch the channel a lot too, Max. So Noelle says she has no idea what she'd do without you, frankly. And you're one of her very best friends. So I hope that's nice to hear. And Max, many happy returns. I hope you also, of course, get very heavily iced chocolate cake. That's all the news. Shall we have a go? A clone count by Marty Sears. what do we have to do if we want to solve this correctly? Let's check out the rules. We have got normal Sudoku rules applying, so we're going to put the digits 1 to 9 once each in every row, every column, and every 3 by 3 box. Then it says symbols. Each digit 1 to 9 is depicted in this puzzle by a strange symbol. Well, that is certainly true. Deduce which symbol stands for which digit and keep track using the key on the right. So you can see that when we get the digits, we can fill them in whatever. That's column 10 and column 11 or something. Now, how do we do this though? It says 2-cell blobs. This grid contains numerous blob-like alien creatures, each consisting of 2 horizontally adjacent cells. Some blobs are shown, the others are invisible and must be located. Blobs do not overlap each other. Clones. Some blobs are clones of each other, hence the name of the puzzle, I suppose, i.e. they contain the exact same 2 digits in the same order. So if this was 1, 2, how do we know how many times it's cloned? We don't. A blob's, hang on, let's do this. 2 digit. A blob's left-hand digit always indicates exactly how many clone copies of that blob, including itself, exist in the grid. Okay, so 1, 2 is a silly example because that would say that there was only one. Would that say there was one copy of it? Or would that say there was only one domino like that? I'm going to have to read that rule again, sorry. A blob's left-hand digit always indicates exactly how many clone copies of that blob, including itself, exist. So if you did have maybe this is just saying you can't have a 1. Indicates exactly how many clone copies. So there's 1 copy. I think that means that this is counting how many, not copies of itself there are, but how many just. So say you had 1 and 9. I think that's saying that there is only one 1-9 domino in the puzzle. I think. A blob's left-hand digit always indicates exactly how many clone copies. It's the word clone that I'm slightly puzzled about, because a clone of something implies a copy of it. But the brackets including itself makes me think that if there's one copy of this domino, no, that's the wrong word. There's one instance of the domino. Is I think how it's meant to be interpreted. I'm not totally sure. We might have to figure this out as we solve. Okay, hang on. Let's keep going though. Oh, that's virtually all the rules. Circular labels. If there is a circular label in the center of a blob, oh, I see. Right, like that one. Its symbol indicates the sum of the blob's 2 cells. Good grief. Right. So this sort of helicopter pad symbol here. This is crazy. Okay, so say that was a 9. Then that would be the same as this. But those 2 digits would sum to 9. I just want to go back to thinking about this. If those sum to 9 and they were 4, 5, let me just go back to this earlier rule. I'm so sorry about this. But it probably is sensible that I understand the rules of the puzzle. Some blobs are clones of each other, i.e. they contain the exact same 2 digits in the same order. So if this is right, the question that is in my mind is how many instances in this grid are there of that blob, if that's the correct terminology I'm meant to use. The blob's left-hand digit, 4, indicates exactly how many copies of that blob, including its... Yeah, okay, now, all right, I think it is clear, actually, isn't it? So there would be 4 copies including itself. So there would be 4 instances of this domino in the grid. So there could be a 4, 5 here, a 4, 4, 5 here, and a 4, 5 there, maybe. Something like that could work. But I think that means if this was a 1 and that was a 9, then there would be no 1 9s anywhere else in the grid, I think. Wow. That's quite confusing. Anyway, do have a go. The way to play is to click the link under the video as usual, but now I get to play. Let's get cracking. So how many blobs are we given? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Do we care? Is that an important total? The grid contains numerous blob-like alien creatures. And we've got, okay, what I can see is that in the top left cells of the blobs, we have we've got an accoutrement of different, how many different symbols? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now, I think they're all different, but I am not certain. There's no sort of London Underground symbol in the top left. There is that one. There is that one. I was going to say there isn't a helicopter, but there is. Yellow. That one's that one, isn't it? That one's that one. And that, yeah, okay. So what we have is everything except this one is in the top left, right. Okay, so I can start the puzzle, I think. Why do I think I can start the puzzle? Well, a blob. Is this Marty? I think Marty relishes making me say stupid things. But a blob is a domino that consists of a left and right side, if you see what I mean. And therefore, how could you ever have 9 instances of the same domino in this puzzle? You can't. Because let's say that you had a 9-8. Oh, I was trying to do a 9-8 domino. Let's say no. Let's put 9 and 8 here. So this is saying there are 9 instances in the puzzle of a 9-8 domino. But how can you create a 9-8 domino? There's a 9 in column 9 somewhere. Let's put it there. I don't know. Oh, it will. But I mean, that's not a domino. That goes off the grid. So this 9 cannot be part of a domino or a blob. It can't be part of a blob. It's impossible. So there's no possibility that 9 is ever a left-hand digit in any blob. And therefore, that digit is a 9. That digit is a 9. Now, the slightly odd thing about that is that means there is a domino that begins with an 8. I'm not sure if it's this one or not, but there is going to be an 8 domino because we know that... Oh, hang on. I made an assumption here in my brain that may not be valid. No, I think I did appreciate these were different digits. I think I must have read that and just assumed it in my head. I was suddenly thinking, could these be the same digit? But no, they are definitely, as says in the instructions, they're all definitely different. So that is a legitimate conclusion. So we know that the digits 1 to 8 all appear as a left-hand digit in a blob. And that means that because 8 is in the left-hand digit of a blob, this is why this is called clone count, isn't it? Because it's going to make me count. There are 8 hang on, this is weird, actually. This is weird. I was going to say there are 8 clones of whatever. Well, let me go through exactly the way my brain went. My brain went, okay, let's imagine there was an 8-7 domino. And then my brain said, no, that can't be right, because that can't No, and it can't be right, because if there was an 8-7 domino, there would be no. Oh. If there was an 8-7 blob, then there would be 8 instances of an 8-7 blob in the puzzle. And so far, I haven't said anything that's a problem. However, we also know that one of these weird symbols is a 7 in the top left corner of its blob. So there are going to be 7 blobs that have a 7 in their left-hand position. And because blobs don't overlap, you can't have an 8-7. You can't have 8-8-7 blobs and 7-7-3 blobs or something, because you're going to have way too many 7s in the puzzle. There are only 9 7s in any Sudoku puzzle. So I want to say the 8 has to join up with a 1. Because even if the 8 joined up with a 2, if you had an 8-2 domino, then yes, so say you had an 8-2 domino. That won't work, because you're going to hypothecate 8 of the 9 2s in the puzzle to 8 2 dominoes that will be sprinkled everywhere. But we know that there's a blob somewhere. One of these top left symbols is a 2, so there's going to be 2 types of blob that start with 2. So that would imply there are 10 2s in the puzzle, and there aren't. Now, the only other wrinkle-dinkle that I need to think about is it possible that 9... Oh, no. Because if 9 was partnered up with... So what I'm now thinking, I can't do it in that row. Let's say this was an 8-9. Then we'd be saying there are 8-8-9s in the puzzle. And that's almost impossible, because that couldn't be an 8-9, because this blob here is not overlapping with that cell. So, but that could be the 9th 9. No, that doesn't work. Oh, goodness, this is very confusing, but I don't think that's possible. Let me try and explain why. Oh, it's really hard to explain. There is, in this puzzle, an 8. Let's delete that. An 8 in this column somewhere. Now, wherever that 8 is, it cannot be part of a blob. No, it can be part of a blob, but it can't be part of a blob that begins with an 8, that has an 8 in its left-hand cell. It can't be. So, in order for there to be 8 clones of the 8 blob, i.e. the blob that has an 8 in its left position, all of the 8s that exist in the puzzle in these cells, any 8 that exists in all of those cells must have its special digit on its right-hand side. It must do, because otherwise you can't make 8 clones. And therefore, I think it's actually the importance of this domino, that this domino exists, stops 8 and 9 being a potential, or stops 8-9 being a potential way of doing the puzzle. You simply can't do it, because the 8 in this column needs a 9 on its right side. If there are 8 instances of 8-9 dominoes, and it couldn't get it because that would overlap with this blob, the purple blob. So, right, so now I'm going to go back. I'm not actually sure if this is useful. But I'm going to go back and now claim that in this puzzle, I believe to achieve 8 copies of a domino, it must be an 8-1 domino. It must be. I think we've dealt with any digit that is not 9, because 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8 and 4, you could put 8, 8, 4 dominoes in, but we know that there is some blob that begins with a 4, and there should be 4 copies of that, so that would say that there were 12 4s in the puzzle. That's wrong. So 8 is either partnering up with 1 or 9, and I think I've disproved 9. So I think there are, in this puzzle, 8 8-1 dominoes in these, well, all of the 8s in this area of the grid have a 1 on their right-hand side. And then the 8 in that column yeah, so it's going to be like a torus, isn't it? The grid is going to operate like a torus in the final column, because the 8, wherever I put the 8 in this column, there is going to be a 1 over there in that same row. That must be true, because in every, let's say this was an 8-1, then obviously, yeah, they're all going to pair up. They're all going to pair up in their rows. In the green, the panoply of 8s in the green always have a 1 on their right. So there will be one row exactly which has not got an 8 or a 1 in it. And when we put the 8 in this column, the 1, there will have been a 1 in all of these columns, because the ones in all of these columns correspond to the 8s in the green columns. So there's already been a 1 in this column, but it partnered up the 8 in column 8. So that the missing column that doesn't have a 1 in it is this column. So this is so confusing, but I think that's actually feels correct, doesn't it? So there is an 8 in this column somewhere, and there is a 1 in that, wherever the 8, whatever row the 8 is in this column, there is a 1 on this side of the grid in that same row. But does this help? It must help. So I'm so sorry. Let me just think about this, because I must be able to do something with this. 8. There are 8 copies of a single domino, which is an 8-1. 8-1 is just everywhere in this puzzle. 81, 81, 81. And then 7. See, 7's going to have the same issue as 8 had. It's going to have to be... But it's different. No, it's different. So 7 then can't partner up with 1 anymore, but 7 could partner up with 2 or 9. And as we reduce the number from 7, and then we say 6 has to appear in 6 different dominoes with its partner digit, but each time it gets more likely that it's going to join with 9s. Or is it the case that the puzzle is divided into maybe the 9? I was thinking maybe the 9s are never in... What would happen if the 9 was never in a blob? Yeah, that's it. Okay, now here's a different way of thinking about it. The puzzle has 72 cells of blobs, because the triangular number for 8 is 36, i.e. what is 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 plus 5 plus 6 plus 7 plus 8? It's 36. So why do I care about that? Well, if we were to say how many blobs are there in this puzzle, it is 36. It's 36 independent blobs, because we know there are 8 of one type of blob, the one that has 8 in its left cell, 7 of another type of blob that has 7 in its left cell, etc., all the way down to 1 blob that has 1 in its left cell. And we know that they correspond to these different symbols. So it should have, yes, we've got 7. Oh, I shouldn't. I've got 8 different symbols because I don't know which one the 8 is. But anyway, so those cells of those blobs are going to take up 72 cells, because there's going to be 36 blobs, each of which is a domino. And therefore there are exactly 9 cells. This is a Sudoku, so it has 81 cells altogether, 9 times 9. So there are exactly 9 cells in this puzzle that are not in any blob. So are they the 9s is my question. And the answer is no. Bobbins. Okay, that's annoying. I thought that might be quite a profitable... okay. The reason I don't think that works is that this row doesn't look like it'll work to me. Because in order to achieve, there are an odd number of digits in any row of a Sudoku. So you can't, and because we're putting in blobs, which are always dominoes, they always occupy an even number of cells. No matter how many there are in this row, they will occupy an even number of cells. So there's always going to be a cell left over, at least. And there can't be lots of cells left over, because in order to achieve 36 blobs with 9 rows available, we must be putting 4 into each row, because we can't put 5 into a row. If you put 5 blobs in a row, there would be 10 cells in the row. That doesn't work. So each row has 4 blobs in it and 1 leftover cell. Now look at this. I see this might be a better way of doing this, you know. So maybe what I've actually got to do is to plot the actual positions of the blobs, which I've now realised I can do in this row. Because I'm sorry, I'm jumping around, but I don't know what I'm doing. A Maverick's flying over. Naughty Maverick. Yeah, but what we've learned many things. I'm just finding it difficult to tie them all together. But one thing we've learned is there are 72 cells in this puzzle covered by blobs. And we've just sort of recapitulated or understood very explicitly that there are 4 blobs in each row. So 4 individual dominoes in each row. Now this cell can't be part of a blob because it's surrounded by blobs and blobs don't overlap. So that must be a blob and that must be a blob. Now I've got 4 in this row. Yeah, look at this row. Now this little congregation of digits can't have 2 blobs in it. So it must have 1 blob, and then this must be a blob. I don't quite know how the colouring is going to work here, and that must be a blob. See, this row is much worse. There are 5 cells there that have to have 2 blobs in, but we could put the gap in any one of those positions. So maybe we make that orange, and we say that that is a gap. That is a gap in row 5. It must be. So that is a blob, that is a blob, and that is a blob. This is a gap in row 6. I see. I start to see. Okay. There must be a gap here. Oh, so you can have... That's slightly odd. I was expecting there to be one blob in every row, column and box, but that definitely isn't true. Look, because these three, they can't fit two blobs in there, so there's a gap in there, but that means this is a blob and this is a blob. Now, row 2. I know that that is not a blob because no blob can start with a 9. We've already looked at that. So this is an individual cell. Okay, so I've got 2 individuals now in row column 7. So this is a blob, this is a blob, and this is a blob. Now, I just think this is so open-ended. Row 1, row 3. Okay, well I've plotted some blobs. I've got more blobs than I did have. I've got more blobs than I did have. Now, so is there some obvious way that I'm meant to know? I'm feeling very stupid. This is making me feel so stupid. How do I know which of these is 8? That's the only thing that I feel I can hold on to here. Is I know that there's a whole variety of 8 1s. I mean, for example, if that was an 8 1, that couldn't be, and that couldn't be, because you'd have repeated 1s. So if that was 8 1, it would be a bit restricting. So if I don't know, I'm sorry. If I have, so 8 in this column is the only 8. See, I don't actually know. Okay, here's a different question. Is the 8 in that column part of a domino or not? It's very difficult for it to be part of a domino, isn't it? Because what would the first digit, what would be the right-hand digit in that domino? So say this was an 8 in the final column. I have a feeling it might have to be like an orange cell. But if it wasn't, and it was part of a domino, what would this digit be? Bearing in mind, it could only be a 1, I think. But it couldn't be a 1 because the 1's meant to be over there. Oh, I've got myself there. No, that's right. That's right. Ah. Yes. Yes. Okay, here is I don't know. I think it's a corollary of many things I've said, and it's probably totally and utterly obvious to everybody here, but it wasn't obvious to me. Okay. This is I think it's impossible for 8 to be part of a domino in this column. Let me try and articulate why that is true. It's because what would be the left-hand digit in that domino? Now, bear in mind, 8 of the 8s in the puzzle are hypothecated to 8 1 dominoes like this. If this was an 8 and this was a 1. So there are 8 of those. So the only thing that this could be would be a 1, because if it was a 2 and we were saying there were 2 28 dominoes as well as 8 81 dominoes, there are 10 8s in the puzzle. That doesn't work. So the only way you could do it is this way. But remember what we said about 1s. We said that every 1 that exists in the puzzle in the final 8 columns has an 8 on its left. So if we did try and do this, this would be an 8 and that would be an 8-1, and that would most certainly not work. So what's actually happened? Right, this is interesting because this means that the 8 in this column is not there. It's not there. It could be here. Yeah, it could be there. It could be there. It can't be here because that would be the second digit in a domino. It could be there, couldn't it? That's very plausible. It could be there, maybe, although I don't know how that interferes with this stuff. It can't be there, and it can't be there. Okay, so the 8 is in one of those four rows, which means there's a 1 in one of those 4 rows. And that's it. Done it. I think. Or have I? No, hang on. I might not have done. I think I have. I think I've done it. But this is not... This is almost like proving Fermat's last theorem. It's every time I think I've got something, I can see a gap in the logic. I think this is correct. Okay, I'm now going to say something and you're all going to shoot me down. No, I'm happy with this. I'm happy with this. I am very happy with this. This is watertight. I've now thought of 2 ways it's watertight, and I'm convinced it's watertight. Okay, here is my question. How many dominoes in this puzzle have a 1 on their left-hand side? How many blobs have a 1 on their left? Now, the simplest answer to that is 1. And the reason we can get to that answer, the cleanest way I can articulate getting to that answer, is because there are definitely 8 81 dominoes in the puzzle. So 8 of the ones have been used up. Yet we know that there is a domino that begins with a 1. And we know that because we've got 8 different symbols at the start of dominoes. So we know that there is a blob that has a 1 on its left. But we know there can only be 1 such domino. Because if there were 2 such dominoes, we couldn't be using 81 8 times. So, what we now know from this logic is that we need to be looking over here, and we need there to be an overlap, because the 1 in this column is the only spare 1 we have. And it must be in a blob where it is on the left-hand side and it is symboled. Because if we used this one, then that would be a blob, but we know that there's some other 1 blob that exists in the puzzle there, and that 1 blob couldn't be part of an 8-1 domino. So I think we have reached the position where we can say this is 8, and this is 1. And therefore that is 1, and this is 1. And this 1 is in the final 8 columns, so that is part of an 8-1. There we are. Well, I've got some digits. 9 in... Oh, that's a silly comment. No, think about A1s. Is there... Oh, I'll tell you something we can do that's actually probably worthwhile here. Those 2 cells now aren't 1s. Oh, botheration. Yeah, look, I didn't see this at all. The helicopter pad is added to that number. To get at that number. Oh, I might have done this totally wrongly, this puzzle. Yeah, okay, right. Imagine we're right back at the beginning and that I haven't annoyed you all for some considerable time. This diamondy thing, you can see it's the sum of 2 digits there, but no, it's, well, but these two, but the helicopter is the sum of 2 digits as well. I'm not sure, because now actually I know that in this helicopter thing here, there's no ones. So this is at least 2 plus 3, which means that the diamondy thing is at least 6. So it's 2 plus 3 plus 1 is which would give 5 here. So the helicopter is at least 5. 5, it's not 8. Oh, hang on. It's actually, yeah, okay. It's not. Yeah, hang on. No, I don't actually. I'm not sure I can. So this adds up to at most 7, and it doesn't use a 1. So it's from 2, 3, 4, 5, and no, it can't use 6 because it can't have a 1 in it. How can I work out which? I must be able to work out now which of these symbol thingies is 8. Can we do Sudoku on them? That one can't. Right. Which ones of these can be 8? Can that one? Yeah, that's not seen by. I've only got 2 8s in the grid, but the 8 is getting like this one can't be. So we can grey that one. That one is the helicopter. That one can't be because it sees this 8. That one we know is a 1, so we've done that one. The pink thing can't be because it sees an 8. So it's either the diamond thingy, or it's the it's not that one. It's not the checkerboardy thingy. It's in the same box as the checkerboardy thingy. Can it be that one? That would be 8. This would be 1, and then 8. Ah, that doesn't actually work. Hang on, is it this? Well, it doesn't work, but let me explain that. If the brown thingy was 8, 1, where would we put 8 in this box is the question. Because if the brown thingy is 8, 1, this one is not 8, 1. So in terms of where you could put the 8, 8 can never be in the second position of a domino. All the 8s are necessary for our 8, 1 dominoes. And it can't be the second position in a domino, and it can't be there by Sudoku, so it just couldn't be anywhere. It doesn't work. So that one's not. So it's now I'm down to the purple diamond or that one. No. Oh, no. It's not there. It's not there because if this was 8, 1, oh, where would I put? Well, it just doesn't work. But let me try and explain. 8 in this box has to be in one of those positions. It can't be there. And remember, it's next to a 1 on its right side, so it would have to be there. But that can't be a 1. It just doesn't work again. It's impossible. So the only one that can be is this one. That one is 8, which is therefore next to 1. And now this is good because now I know that there's an 8, 1 parent here. But remember, the 8 has always got to have a 1 on its right, and it's always got to be in the leading position of a blob. So it's got to be like that. So now this is an 8. So that is not an 8. So the 8 is in one of 2 places, and the 1 is in one of 2 places in box 3. What about 8 in this box then? It can't be in the second position. It can't overlap there. It can't be there. It's got to be there. So it's got to be there. It's got to be there. And oh, that doesn't resolve that. 8. Oh, lovely. Where's 8 in the bottom row? This might have been available for a while, but I mean, I think this is quite complicated. They can't be there because this would be a 1. Can't be in the second position of a domino, so it's there and there. So there's a 1 in one of those 3, which is going to have an 8 on its left. You sort of look at that and you think that must be possible to work out, but I don't know how to do it. 8. Where's 8 in box 1 now? It's in one of these 2 cells, but it can't be that one. It would be in the second position. So it's there, it's there. We take that out. And okay, and that is a domino. That is a bug, I should say. So we can do some bugging along that row. That is the orange leftover. Now, if that one, oh, I don't know. No, I don't know. I was thinking maybe I could do some magic in that row, but no. This we worked out was on its own, didn't we? We worked out it couldn't be. Oh, well, that's good. It couldn't be paired up, so we can do some more dominoing across there. It's a really strange pattern of things that aren't in blobs. It feels very peculiar to me. I don't know if that's just my own lack of intuition when it comes to building alien blob patterns, but it just feels really strange. So, oh, I know what I can do. I've just worked out that one, which is that one, is 8, so that's got to be 7. So this one adds up to 8, which is that one. That's a helicopter, so that's a 7. Is that right? I'm getting very confused here. Sorry, I'm just going to delete that. I'm not sure I trust it. Those 2 sum to that one, which no, that is right, and that is the helicopter, so that is that. And now those 2 add up to 7. I'm worried I did some bad logic here when I got rid of 6 from this. I got rid of 6 from there earlier. Yeah, that was valid. That was valid because 6. If it was 6 plus 2, it would add up to 8. Plus that would make 9, and I could never put 9 into a thingy, so that was legitimate. Okay, so this was 7. Well, those add up to 7, so they're either 2, 5 or 3, 4. Helicopter is 7. And helicopter, in its right-hand position, is going to have either a 2 or a 9, isn't it? And I say that because it couldn't have a 3, because then 7, there would be 7 3 dominoes in the puzzle, which would consume 7 of the 3s. Yes, I know 3 starts a domino of its own, and there must be 3 instances of that, so there would be 10 3s in the puzzle. So the only way that works, this is 2 or 9. But 7 is in one of those, and 7 is not the yellow diamondy thing, so 7 is there. So this is another one of these dominoes. So this now is 2 or 9. Well, it can't be 9. 9 is not the same. 9 is not the 9 is the London Underground symbol. So this is a 2. So that's a 2. That's a 2. Oh, hang on. Hang on. That's weird. Now I've got like a 7, 2, but it's not a blob there. Oh, Marty, what are you doing? Oh, that's weird. So, okay, so hang on, what does that mean? So that means there are 7, 7, 2 blobs in the grid. There's another 7, 2 there that is not a blob, and there must be a 7 in this column that's not a blob. So every other 7 that we get in the puzzle has to be blobbed. So we couldn't put a 7 here, for example, because it wouldn't be part of a blob, and it needs to be for us to find 7, 7, 2 blobs. So the question now, I don't know what as you sort of know what the question is, I can't see what to do with it. I want to find all these 7, 2 blobs. Or maybe what we do is we label all of the other colours that we haven't got, which with 3, 4, 5, and 6, because that's the truth, isn't it? No, that hasn't helped. That really hasn't helped. Or maybe it's 2s. Maybe I could get... There's 2 here. And it is part of a domino here. This is a 2 domino. So the 2s are never in orange positions either. Because the 2s, the panoply of 2s is 7, 7, 2 dominoes, and 2 of whatever that domino is. So that uses up all 9 2s. So we can never put 2 in orange. So 2 in box 4 is one of 3 positions. And this would be, if that was a 2, this would be a 7. I've got a sort of roping going on in the bottom row, haven't I? I've got 1, 7, 2, 1, 7, 2, 1, 7, 2. So these 3 digits will be those 3 digits, will be those 3 digits. Okay, goodness. What on earth do we do now then? We haven't got all our 8 ones. We've got... But we know... Okay, do I know... Is this a legitimate comment? Do I know that any 7 in a blob has to be a left-hand 7? Other than in the final... Oh, in the final column it's got to be an orange 7, hasn't it? I think it does. Yeah, there was a 1, 7 here. That's existed. That's a genuine thing that's existed. But if the 7 in this column, which was part of a horizontal blob, then whatever the digit was in the left-hand cell would require there to be too many 7s in the puzzle. So in this, it's probably here then, is it? Oh, bother. It can't be there, it can't be there. So it's in one of those 3 positions. And it's orange. Oh, no, it's not there. It's in one of those 3 positions. Actually, I've had another weird thought. This is a bit of a bonkers thought. Because 7 seems to be inexorably tied to 2, even when it's not blobbed here. There are 7, 7, 2 dominoes scattered around the piece, And there's this domino that's a 7-2 domino as well. So even though it's not actually a blob. So the final instance in the puzzle of where 7 is in this row, 7 is in this column, sorry, that's also going to be toroidal. There's going to be a 2 in one of those cells. That might allow us to narrow down. So where did I say 7 was? That one, and that one. So there is a 2. Well, it's not that one. It can't be there because this can't be 2. So there's a 7 in one of those, and there's a 2 in one of those. And if it was there, if this was 7 and this was 2, that domino would be the same as that domino. Those two digits would be the same digit. Because there are 2 of this, whatever it is, and there are only 2 2s available to lead dominoes. And if it was here, then this would be a 5. Because this is meant to add up to 7, isn't it? To be equal to that digit. And then this would be a 7. That would fix my 1s and 8s as well, which would be a lovely thing. Okay. Oh, wait. Where's 7 in box 5? 7 can't be it can't be there. No, it can never end any dominoes anymore. It's ended that domino, and that's its full end of domino range. So it doesn't end a domino. It doesn't end oh, it's just placed. Bobbins. Sorry, I should have seen that before. It didn't. So that's a 7-2 domino. So 7 in box 4. I think it's got 3 possible positions, actually. Some of these might be possible for some reason. Or, okay, let's try 2. Oh, wait. 2 in box... well, this is a 2-8 pair now, actually. That seems to have to be a 2-8 pair for what that's worth. And the 2... the 2 in one of those... Doesn't the 2 have to have a 7 on its left? Isn't that what we worked out because of the toroidalness of the... I think a 2 in any position... Yeah, the 7s and the 2s are inexorably linked, even through a torus. So if this was 2, it wouldn't work. I just want to explain that. I think it's true. If this was a 2, you might say, oh, that could be the same domino as that, and that would work. But it wouldn't be possible for it to work, because that would be 2 2s. That hadn't been used for 7s, and the 2 in this column couldn't be used for a 7 either. So how could the 7 get to a count of 7 7-2 dominoes? It couldn't do it. So this is 8. This is 1. This is 8. This is 1. This is 2. This is 7. And we know that the 7 can't go here because we've talked about that. The 7 is going... oh, no, it could go there. That is where it's going to go, isn't it? So, yes. So the 7 is in one of these 3. It can't complete a domino anymore. It can't go there because that would be a 2 by all the logic we've been discussing. So it has to go there. This is a 2. Now, one of those is a 7, so one of these is a 2. Which means one of those is a 2. And it can't be at the start of a domino. Well, it really can't as well because there's another 2 there. So this is definitely 2. This is definitely 7. We must be able to do all our 2. Well, yeah, 7 has to be... can't end a domino, can't go there because this would be a 2. So that's 7. That's 2. This is now not 2. 2, 5 adding to 7. It's 3, 4 adding to 7. And hopefully now, yeah, look, we are getting the 7s and the 2s figured out. We are at least managing to do that, which is something of a relief. Now this 2 and this 2 are the same, so those 2 digits are the same as well. I don't know how to, maybe I'll give those an A or something. Those are the same digit. The only 2 instances of 2 commencing blobs. Now, what do we think we have to do now? No idea. 9? 9 can't go there. It can never lead a domino. So 9 is in one of 2 places in the bottom row. 9 in box 9 is in one of 2 places. 9 definitely has a part to play in Blobs's, which is somewhat exciting for it. Those digits are 5, 6, and 9 by Sudoku. And that is a Blobs. This, wait. That is a Blobs. That is a Blobs. This is therefore an orange, and that must be a Blobs, because every row, let's do a different colour for that. Every row must have 4 blobs in it. So that is a Blobs, and it can't lead with a 9. So the 9 goes in the corner. So maybe column 3. We need 3, 4, and 9 into those cells. 9 could absolutely be a final digit in a Blobs. What about this row then? 3, 0, 3, 4, 5, 6, I think. Bother. Oh, that's a 9 by Sudoku. 9 can't lead. So 9 in box 5 is only in 2 positions. 9 can't lead in a blob, so 9 is placed in box thingy, technical term for box 8. 9 is not there anymore. Oh, that's nearly good. So 9 in column 3 is slightly restricted, placing 9 in box 7. That's interesting. So 9 isn't in the corner down here anymore. That's 9. 9. No, I can't quite get it. I thought I was going to get it in column 9, but no. So this... Is it possible that 9 joins up with 2 different low digits? Like if there was a 3, 9 and separately there was a 4, 9, would that work? That would work at the moment because I've only got 2 9s in orange cells, so there are 7 9s available at least to join up with digits in Blobs's. Right. So how do I make this? How do I finish this puzzle? I've got all my 1s done, all the 2s done, all the 7s, presumably all the 8s, not all the 9s. I've got a few 9s though. I've got 6 done. 6 9s placed. That, I don't know how to do this, I'll do it like that. This little thing here is combining 9 with a 5 or a 6. Now, these 2 9s are free 9s. They're floating 9s that can't be part of any Blobs's. So that's at least 7 9s that are now hypothecated to either being free 9s or joining this thingy. Now, so the only thing that 9 could join to, the only other digit that it could join to on its left would be a 2, but this would be a 2, 9, and that doesn't work. So actually there is only one type of 9 blob. And therefore, because that is a 9 blob, that digit is the same as that digit. That is a blob, which is a 5 or a 6 combined with this digit. This is a blob, so that is a 5 or a 6 combined with this digit. That's the same. It must be. So this digit is now a 5 or a 6. So we've got 1, 2, 3. 9 can't lead a thingy, so 9 is not there. So 9 is actually here, and that's part of a blob. So that is the same thing again. Now, now my 9s are getting resolved. So I get a 9 here. I get a 9 here. That's part of a thingy. I feel like I've had loads of thingies at the moment, which makes me think that this digit's going to be a 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Well, it better be 6, because otherwise I've got a big problem. Because all of those are indisputably Blobses. So there are 6 instances of it. So we can fill all of those in straight away. I see this is... Oh, that is a worry. Because that digit is a 6. But I think that can't be a Blobs. Because there would be then 7 Blobs with start that were 6, 9. So I think that has to be orange. And that has to be a Blobs. Which is just weird as. So this digit must be, because we've used 6, there are 6 of the 6s, and there's a Blobs to come here, so this has got to be a 3. So I think that must be correct, because it's part of a Blobs. It can't be a 2 or a 1. And if it was a 4, say, there would be 4 4-6 pairs and 6 6-9 pairs. So this is a 3-6, therefore this is... Well, this is a 4-5 pair. This digit is a 3. Oh, look at this. It's getting so cluttered now. There's a 4-3 domino that's just emerged from nowhere. So there are 4 4-3s and 3 3-6s. If anyone's actually following these sentences, really well done, because it's quite extraordinary. Okay, look at this row. That's a 3. That's a floating 3. There can't be many of those. There's 2 floating 3s only in this puzzle. Otherwise, I've broken it. Oh, that's good. That's a 25 now. So that's a 25. We knew they were the same. Oh, well, this can't be... There can't be a 4-3 and a separate 4-5. Because that would imply that there's too many... There's only one of each digit beginning a Blobs. So this must be 5-4. And somehow or other this needs to work now. So this is a 4-5. This row needs a 5. That's a floating 5, which is a weird thing. So there's a 5-4. Okay, that's a good thing, because I'm expecting to find a few of those. There's a 3 in the corner. That's 3 in the corner. That's 3 in the spotlight, losing its religion. Now, there's no such thing as a 5-3, so there should be a 4-3 and another floating 5. These are 3, 4, 5. That digit is not 5. That digit is not 3. Oh, hang on. Oh, I see. Look at this. So I've got 3, 4, 5. 3, 4. Oh, this we're going to have to figure out which way round that domino goes, which is a terrifying thought. There's a 4-3 there. Right, I'm going to have to do some there as a 4-3, a 4-3, a 4-3. There should be exactly 4 4-3s. And then we've got a 5-4 there, a 5-4 there. We've also got a variety of 3-6s. 3-6, Although I haven't found many of those yet. No, I really haven't found many 3/6s. I hope that's not a complete mischief that I've committed there. Which is a worry, isn't it? The other thing I could do, of course, is actually try and work out what these symbols are, because some of them have been revealed now. That one, which is that one, I think, is a 6. Okay, so what's that one? No, that's an 8. I know, I understand that one. That one, which is that one, isn't it? So that's a 5. So this one is 5. So is that the checkerboardy one? Yeah, that's the checkerboardy one. And that's a 4. So the brown one is a 3, which is that one. So that's a 4, that's a 6. 3, 6, that's good. I wanted to find another one of those. I'm hoping there might be one there as well. We've got another 5, 4 there, which is a good thing. We need a few of those. So these digits now don't include 5. So this is a 5. That's got to be the start of a thingy, so that must be part of a 5, 4. Now this one has to be a 3, 6. There's no such thing as a 6, 3, remember, so it's got to be in that order. And Sudoku, if I finished the puzzle, that feels completely bananas, because I don't feel I've really done it at all. Okay, I've got to make sure I've got the right count of all of these. See, I haven't done this one. Marty's so clever. You always have to think, you know, at the very end. So we've got 1, 2, 3. I think that has to be a 5, 4. But that means there should be 4, 4, 3s. 1, 2. Where's the other 4 3s? 3. There are 4 of those already. So that can't be so that 3 is a floating 3, and that is a 5, 4 domino, and that gets what colour was that? Pinked. I mean, it's a genius puzzle, absolute genius. And I've got 2 2 5s presumably there and there. Got so many 7s and 2s and all sorts of things. It must be correct. Please. Yes. Yes. Oh, fantastic puzzle. Clone count. That was seriously interesting. Really fascinating puzzle, actually. And not, at least for this solver, terribly easy. Do let me know in the comments how you got on with the puzzle. I enjoy the comments, especially when they're kind. And please remember to subscribe. We're getting really close to 700,000 subs. And we'll be back later with another edition of Cracking the Cryptic.